we've gone on and on about Witcher, but that got me thinking, guys. RPGs are fantastic things to play.
Indeed.
They are. We've played so many good ones, from Fallout 3 to The Witcher 3. Mm-hmm. It seems like 3 is a very good number for RPGs, it seems like.
The magic number.
Well, in terms of Skyrim 5, that was a good one too. Mm-hmm. But the third Elder Scrolls was Morrowind, and that was a really good game too. Mm-hmm. Anywho, I want to know what you guys think makes like the best RPGs, like which systems make the best RPGs. When you think of an RPG, like which systems you would take to make the perfect RPG, as opposed like would you take things from JRPGs or would you take things from Western RPGs? Like what are the things that like when you go into an RPG, you're like, I want this in there. You know, this is what gets my bell ringing. If you know what I mean.
Well, if I'm gonna make the perfect RPG, I'm only gonna release it on computer, PC.
The perfect one.
Yep.
Okay. Why's that?
Just in terms of like power?
It's the most powerful machine.
So I'm not does graphics make the game good though? I mean, it definitely highly, because we were just talking about The Witcher.
Depends what you're going for.
Freaking phenomenal, and it can work.
To me, not necessarily, no.
Okay.
But as a developer standpoint, maybe.
So maybe a larger world, or you can push that tech, or...
I think the most important thing to me personally is storytelling.
Okay.
To make the best RPG.
Okay.
Because, well, like, we're entertained by stories. Like, that's what we like to spend our time doing. Like, stories... You know what I'm saying? Like, stories
I guess in terms of an RPG, that's
it's like reading a good book.
Everything going.
Like, stories are what bring us happiness when we're like...
Or sadness.
Stuff. Or sadness. Like, stories keep the world going around.
That it?
Okay. Well, and even in terms of a game, you would put story over everything else?
Yes.
Over everything else?
I mean, besides performance, as long as the game runs.
Even performance? Like, what about the gameplay in a game?
That's what I care about most.
Yeah.
Gameplay's important, too. Gameplay and story are the most important things.
Yeah, because I think they both drive each other. I want to have a point of doing the gameplay. Mm-hmm. But then again, if the gameplay is freaking awesome, then I'm going to keep doing that. But I think in the quintessential RPG is a game that has characters. I preferably like to create my own character because I like to go in with a blank slate, making my own decisions. So I think that's the number one thing for me is RPGs where you can create your own character. Not saying there aren't great RPGs where you control other characters, as in Persona 4, as in Witcher 3.
Are you saying you would rather have a character that you just created or one that's already...
I personally would. Because I want to forge his own story.
Okay, so like you don't want to take the route of Geralt where he's already a part of this world.
Not that that's bad, because I love it, but
it's not what you prefer.
I love that Bethesda style where they literally they either birth you or they just throw you out there and you're a nobody and you just forge your own way.
It's kind of like the hero story that's so popular in America, you know?
Yeah, and I think in terms of in Western RPGs, that's what you see the most. Because I mean, the biggest Western RPGs are the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, stuff like that. And they you're a nobody. They send you out here and they let you change the world. They let you influence the world. And who doesn't like creating a character?
That's my favorite thing ever.
Hours making a character, searching the world for loot and stuff like that, which is my second thing. Cool loot.
Yeah.
No RPG is good without loot.
Very true.
I think, as we were talking about The Witcher is the best game I've played with loot since probably Elder Scrolls. Everywhere you go, there is loot there. There's the carrot at the end of the stick. And I think a lot of RPGs really lose that. They like, ooh, come explore these caves and stuff to get like a piece of bread or something like that to restore your health. So I really love the loot systems, especially from Western RPGs. Some of the JRPGs, I must have not been playing any, I haven't played a lot of them, but in terms of like Persona and stuff, there's not really a lot of incentive to go exploring and stuff in terms to like open world, like Western RPGs. So character creations, gotta have some loot. And third, I would say story. There needs to be a reason in these RPGs for you to like really want to forge your way and for you to really want to make an impact on it.
Yeah.
So I think those would definitely be my top 3 things that like I really crave, and like when I think about RPGs, that's what I really want in them. What about you, sir?
I said this earlier about The Witcher, but I love random encounters in RPGs. Like my favorite random encounter in any RPG I've ever played was in Skyrim. I'd only been playing for like 3 or 4 hours, and I went into a cave. And I was just walking through, and I went down this hall, and all of a sudden I fell through the floor and just like fell into this like pit, and I was in a cage with like a bunch of dead guys, and there was like this mage with like a black cloak on, like making potions or something. He's like, oh, another one. Yeah,
That's cool.
He's like, oh, another one or something. He's like, you fell into my trap, and he's talking to you like, you're gonna die in here, and blah blah blah. And there's like these dead guys everywhere. I was like, holy crap! I don't remember what you do, but you somehow get a key and get out of the gate and kill the guy. And a couple other things happen in that cave. But I thought that was just so cool how like it was just this random thing. It wasn't like part of the main story. It's like, oh, you fell into the main villain's trap. It was like just random dude just living in this world, and you fell into his trap, and you thought you were gonna die in his cage.
Yeah.
And I mean, things happen like that in a lot of games, but like Fallouts and stuff, for example.
But I think what's better is in these RPGs is that like I was just talking about where you forge your own way. It's like something happens to you and you as a character figure out a way to get out of this situation. Like
Right.
you have choices to do. Whereas if you're playing another game, it's obviously like, oh, let's kill everybody and escape. Whereas in an RPG, you can approach these things in different ways and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And like you were saying too, how like I love how The Witcher's phenomenal, and any other game that when you're playing as a specifically designed character is always great. But whenever you make your own character and explore this world, it's like a totally different feeling. Like when I was like, we're playing as Geralt, I'm like, yeah, I'm loving this, and you have control of like the way you customize Geralt, like his appearance and his abilities and stuff. But it's technically like not you. You're like taking on the role of someone else. But when you take on your own role, that makes the decisions you make even more exciting.
It's
and
like
makes
you're
your
simulating what you would do. Like,
yeah, exactly.
And I like that, but I was just thinking, and we were talking about this about Geralt as well. Like I've said so many things as Geralt that I would have never said as my
same
own
with me.
character.
That's exactly, because whenever I'm Geralt, I'm like, I feel like since this guy's a Witcher, he's a badass. Like I'm not gonna take crap from anyone. Like half the time I'm be like, F you, and I'll fight him. But like if it were me, I'd probably be extra nice. I usually am, and when I'm playing as myself, and like whether it be Mass Effect or Skyrim, Fallout, I'm usually always the nice guy. But yeah, that's a totally great example.
Yeah, and there's two different types of characters like that. When you forge your own character, you're starting from fresh. You're representing yourself in this game and stuff. And of course, you'll play through and like destroy everything just for fun and stuff.
Yeah.
But as if where you're playing at an RPG and you're representing another person, it's almost like you're making decisions. It's like you're role playing as that character. You're like, what would Geralt do? in
There's
this
definitely room for
situation and
both
stuff
kinds.
like that. Yes. Definitely. And when there's an established franchise such as The Witcher with books and movies and TV shows and all that crap that The Witcher has, I don't think he has movies, I know he has a TV show. That's like perfectly great, and I love playing in that world, and it really saddens me that this is the last Witcher game that they're making. Like that really bumps me after playing this. But on the other hand, I really love the experiences that you get out of Fallout and Skyrim, where it's like, this is me. You know what? I'm just gonna do things my own way. I don't have to be tied down to a specific character. That's already established in this world.
That was probably my biggest complaint with Destiny, is that it didn't make you feel important enough in the game with the story. Then again, there's not much story. So.
True. Maybe if there's more
The story
it'd feel
and
more important.
there's just a lack of you. Like they congratulate you on doing things, but like there's like cool. Now go farm shit.
Yeah.
Now that would be fantastic with Destiny 2, is like we're talking about RPGs and stuff, because Destiny, gameplay wise is fantastic.
Destiny is what it is, but
yeah, if they could
add more.
incorporate that into an actual like big RPG, that would be amazing. I mean, with that type of gameplay and like an open MMO world, like maybe they should just make it an MMO instead of this shared world shooter.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
I don't think it will, but I think it'd be awesome. And if Destiny doesn't do it, maybe somebody else should do it.
Maybe.
It's almost like because like in terms of like, and then you get into games with like RPG elements and stuff like that, which we have Mad Max coming out, which is definitely.
I'm so excited for that.
Yes, but that wouldn't per se be like a hardcore RPG. That's got RPG elements like Shadow of Mordor.
Right.
It's got your skill trees and stuff like that. So there's room for all these. There's so many different types of RPG systems and stuff. But I mean, I personally prefer like the hardcore RPG, like we were talking about, create your own character and just really influence this world in a way that you would. Because I think that's what, it's a role-playing game. You go into a mystic world and you affect the world through like, role-playing as a guy. And I think that's why RPGs are my favorite games, is because those give you, the power and the feelings that no other game and, no other genre in video games can really give you. So...
another thing, this is a little, it's not really random, but I remember with the exception of Fable 3, I love the Fable franchise, Fable 1 and 2 specifically, and I remember I always loved how one of my favorite things in the game is like depending on your choices and your actions, it would affect your physical appearance. And I always thought that was really cool. Like
that's cool.
The darker and darker, more evil you got, the more you'd like literally like start turning into this like devil creature. And like whenever, and it was also cool. One of my favorite things about Fable 2 is whenever you die, you get a new scar.
Yeah.
And I remember on my evil character, I purposely died over and over and over and over again. I had like hundreds of scars like across my face and my whole body. I was like huge horns. I was like black and everything. I just looked freaking awesome. And then when you're a good guy, you get like that halo above your head. You look very like royal and stuff. And
I'm surprised no other RPGs have really delved into that besides Mass Effect, because I know the more renegade you get, you kind of get like kind of scary looking with veins in your face and stuff. But that is a really cool gameplay mechanic that I'm surprised hasn't been explored more in these Paragon Choice games and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely one thing.
Actually, a lot of games do that. Second Son did it. Mass Effect did it.
That's true.
That game did it. There are probably more games that I'm not even thinking about that do it.
Yeah, that's a feature I definitely really like in an RPG. I also like, I mean, you can do this pretty much in every other RPG as well, but when you can like choose like a house you want to live in and like furnish that house and like put you, like in Skyrim, and Assassin's Creed does this too, but like Skyrim and stuff, how you can like all these like rare and like exotic weapons you found, you can like put them on display in your house and like all the armor sets you found, and like that was another cool thing about Skyrim is like when they released that DLC, we could literally build your house from the ground up, and you could choose like 10 different locations you wanted to do it. And I remember I chose this like lakeside with like a mountain, like near a mountain. It was like this big lake, and I used like just build this. You have to collect all the materials, all the wood, and all like it took me like hours to do, but I built this like huge mansion and had like everything I'd ever found in this like 200-hour experience I'd played, and just like put it on display. And then after I did all that, I'm like, well, what was that all really worth?
But I mean, you're like I said, with all these RPGs, you're like affecting the world. You're like doing something your way. You're building the house that you want to build, where you want to build it. So you're like, making your own footprint on this world.
That's another thing, going back to the random encounters and including the living where you want to live place. I remember my first family I had in Fable 2. Just this makes me wish they'd make another great Fable game, because they've been rough ever since Fable 3.
Aren't they in the process of making one?
They're making one called Fable Legends. It's like a MOBA, isn't it?
No, it's a free-to-play like dungeon master game.
It's going on Xbox One.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in that. I mean, it might be really cool, but like when
Fable.
I think of Fable, I think of like an open world RPG. But
it's not like that.
I remember I had my family in Fable 2, my first family. I had multiple families, because I'll tell you what happened to the first one. Well, I had a family and 2 kids, which I also thought was cool. You could get married and have kids and like have a family in this game. That's
like
really
real
cool
life.
too. It is like real life. What's the point of real life when you can do it in Fable, right?
No.
But I had this family and kids, and my kids had like grown from infants to like, I guess you'd call them like 7 or 8 years old, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I got a little family. I'd go out
From
on
infants to children, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'd go out and do all these missions. I'd bring them like toys and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then like one day I came back to my house, and like I don't remember if it shows the kids dying, but either you could see them on the ground or you just get a letter that says your children have been killed or something. But one time I came home and my kids were dead and my wife was being attacked by goblins. I was like, oh my gosh! So I ran in and started killing goblins. They ended up killing my wife. These goblins killed my entire family. Just this random encounter. They invaded my house and killed them all. That sucks. And as much as I was like, man, that sucks, at the same time I was like, that is so cool that happened. And then my second family I got, and you remember in Fable 2 where you could go to those like demon faces and like go inside them and you like get loot? Well, there was one you could go into, and there's like this magical like meadow where there's a house inside.
Like cornfield and stuff.
Yeah, and like it was like hidden behind this big demon like mountain wall, so like no one could get in there. And I remember moving my second family in there so no one could ever touch them, and like they were safe in there. But I thought that was so cool how like my family was killed by these random goblins. I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I love stuff like that.
Since we're all on Fable 2, I guess I was trying to get 1,000 out of 1,000 in achievements in that game, which I did. And I had to be married to 2 women at the same time to get one.
I did this too.
And I married another girl, and I'd been
this
married.
Is so funny.
I've been married to the same girl the entire game, and there's a part where you have to go off to a prison, and Garrett told me, he's like, your wife's gonna leave you during that part, and I was so bummed, and I was like, oh, and I told her goodbye. I was like, bye, and everything. She's like, bye, and I came back, and she was there waiting for me, and I was like, yeah, she's there. And I was so happy. I moved into the castle and everything.
Yeah.
So I married this other girl to get the achievement, and I moved her into this house. I like calculated the farthest away I could be from my wife, and we literally walked in the door, and I blew her head off. I killed her when the trophy popped, and then I just walked.
Oh yeah, you
out.
like got married, and as soon as the achievement popped up, she's like, boom, dead.
So your wife would never.
Yeah, and I went back to my wife, and she was like a little mad for like a day, and then she was back to normal. So yeah,
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's funny. That was another cool thing I thought too in Fable 2 because when you go to this prison, you get captured and taken to this prison. You're there for like 10 years, so it's like literally that long in the story. And when you come back, my wife, I guess I wasn't nice enough to her or something because I came or given her enough gifts or something. Because when I came back, she was like, "You were gone too long." She's like, "I'm leaving you," and she was just gone. Like, well, that sucks. But yeah, Fable 2 was a fun one. But I liked a lot of the features in the game. I also liked how you had that dog companion that would follow you everywhere too.
that was cool.
And I always like having a companion in any RPG, whether it be like a character or an animal or something.
Or a horse.
Yeah. A horse is one thing. I love a companion that can also help you in combat as well. I think that's exciting.
I gave Roach one of my swords that I wasn't using, and he was flailing it around.
Really?
With his mouth.
Yeah. Or this hoof.
Running through the wolves like.
He's got swords on his hooves.
Yeah. Man.
Man,
What's something else that we like in RPGs?
RPGs.
I could probably think
Everything.
of a million things, but
I just like them.
They're the perfect games.
You know what I like?
They're better
about
than any other
RPGs?
genre. In my
I like
opinion.
Fallout 4s and RPGs.
yeah, it's only very soon we're gonna
I
see
hope
it.
so.
Everybody
I know we
plug in
are.
Fallout 4.
I feel
I thought
it
I
within
was playing
myself.
The Witcher 3 a lot. It's like, oh my gosh, when Fallout comes out,
That's
Yeah,
the
we'll never
it'll be
see
the
you
end of
again.
everything.
I'll be gone, guys.
Yeah.
I'll be having Hot Buns the Candle taking my place.
Yeah. Sorry, Hot Buns is
How you
here
doing, Hot
tonight.
Buns?
Yeah, with the lighter we were using on the grill because it's Memorial Day weekend. We're grilling some hot dogs and hamburgers, and we had Hot Buns the candle, but we did not have a lighter. So
He'll be here next week.
yeah, he will be.
Yeah. Well, guys, that was an excellent conversation.
Yeah, it was
I
fun.
absolutely love RPGs, and this
Me
was
too.
just the RPG Palooza.
Yeah, it was. This week was great for RPGs. We're playing a brand new one. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did a little review.
We'll be playing
And,
it for a long time.
Absolutely. I will platinum that game. Just like Bloodborne, I have this game's number, and I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if you have it already, why are you gonna take it?
I don't even know why I said that, Jacob. Don't question it. It just sounded right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, and only 2 topics this week.
Yes, because we're running a little bit behind.
And it
putting up
actually
a
kind of worked
podcast.
out because we're almost at an hour. So
Okay. Well,
Wow.
we talked about 2 topics in about the time of 3. So pretty good, guys.
Pretty good.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this podcast, and please tell us below what your favorite RPGs or RPG moments are, what you dig about them and stuff, and let us know below what you think of The Witcher 3 as well in our previous podcast, or just do it right here.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook because
Yep.
we've gotten a lot more involved with social media. So if you don't like commenting on YouTube, comment on our Facebook page and tell us how much we suck there instead. So
Yes.
plenty of places to talk to us on. So
Plenty
and that's
of
all linked in
places.
the description, so you can follow us there
If
as
you
well.
want a MySpace too, just let us know. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, make a fan MySpace.
Yeah, I'll
We'll
run the
take it over.
MySpace.
Okay.
Official MySpace
Yeah,
account.
Well, guys, I think that'll do it for this week.
absolutely.
All
It's
right.
been a pleasure.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys next week on the It's Obvious Gaming Podcast.
See ya.
Bye.